Last week we culled the collective to our final 16 voices, all in preparation for the live finals. And at the end of week 6 we still have, well, 16 voices. Actually, besides a few select performances, this week was relatively painless. Okay, so I say relatively painless because our 16 hopefuls have had their public execution stayed until next week. Hi, my name is Dr. Dan and you're watching my weekly review of The Voice Australia. The Fifth Chair project was born out of my desire to proactively engage in the discussion around TV talent shows and the way in which they shape our consumption of modern contemporary music. As we get started with this week's review, I have a small confession to make. I was unable to watch the show in its entirety on Sunday night. My recording failed, unfortunately, so I've had to content myself with only watching the individual performances online. This, of course, means that I didn't catch much of the banter and carry on between songs. The one positive that we can all take from this is the knowledge that this week's review has not been biased by any post-performance verbaling by the celebrity judges. Who am I kidding? Was it ever? I stated before that this week was relatively painless. Now the key word here is relatively. When you compare it to some of the performances to date, it wasn't too bad. Yes, we did have to endure Liam's tight vocal tract and Nathan's monotone reworking of a Taylor Swift piece, which was weird and didn't work. We were subjected to another oversung performance by Joe Moore and the typecast positioning of many contestants. Tamika as the country chick, Amber Nichols with a new hairdo as the alternative 90s rock chick, and Naomi as the classy music theatre chick. You get the picture. But this week, I'm going to hopefully surprise us all by critiquing one of my favourite voices in this year's competition, Caleb Jago-Ward. Let's have a listen to Caleb's performance of the Conrad Sewell piece, Start Again. I think we may have found the chink in Caleb's armour. One of the hardest things to do when singing is to move a single sustained note across a gradual crescendo and diminuendo. The Italian term given to this vocal technique is messa di voce. It literally means placing the voice. You see, it's quite difficult to maintain a smooth note when the volume gradually increases and then decreases because the vocal folds have to make minute but very definite changes in their oscillatory patterns. This challenging vocal skill is made all the more difficult in the Conrad Sewell song because Caleb's voice needs to alter the dynamics and the tonal colour at the same time. Caleb tries to navigate the necessary dynamic range without really adjusting his breath flow rates. The unfortunate consequence is an overly breathy lower register that lacks deeper hues required to fill out the tone. Once Caleb's voice enters the upper register, the breath pressure seems to be spot on, but the tone is still a little thin for my liking. Personally, I think Caleb could have activated a little more resonance space in the pharynx, the back of his throat, to access a fuller sound. Caleb is still one of my favourites, and I am being exceptionally picky. I guess I saw an opportunity to prove to all my naysayers that I'm not out to target any one contestant or actively engage in the tearing down of a single voice. On the Fifth Chair, everyone is up for critique, and if I hear something that I feel we'll all benefit from educationally, be assured I'll comment on it. Watch out, Naomi Price, you could be next. And I know Naomi, one of my top 12 picks, will still be there next week because she's been saved from the viewing public's vote by the creative meddling of the show's directors. Actually, I have 2 saves on my list, with Caleb also being held over for Team Delta. How is your list faring? I've still got 6 in play. If I was going to predict who I think my list will lose this week, I think I'm going to lose Sammy. I like Sammy's rendition of this woman's work, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Kath and Amber might just edge him out when it comes to the public vote. What do you think? Who's still on your list, and who do you think will be left standing when the polls close on Sunday night? Of course, it's anyone's guess, so take a stab in the dark and write your predictions in the comments section below. And if this is your first time watching The Fifth Chair or any video here at Voice Essentials, I'd like to extend a really very warm welcome to you. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to learn more about singing and performance, why not subscribe and join our ever-growing global family of singers who want to develop their voice and improve their sound. Come on, subscribe, it's fun. I promise, I can't guarantee it, but I'll do my best. We end another week of The Fifth Chair with my pick of the week, and no, it isn't Caleb Jago-Ward. This week, I'm acknowledging the exceptional stage presence and professional vocals of Naomi Price. I got to admit, I don't really like Evita the musical, but Naomi pushed through my strongly held prejudice towards this musical and this song to connect with me and her audience as a whole. Her stature is centered and her voice is sure, beautiful and strong. So make sure you click on the link to have a listen to her performance. But until I see you next week in our next Fifth Chair review, I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.